Alright guys, and welcome back to aggressiveentropy.com. What we're doing today is, pardon my screen, but what we're doing right now is this is the continuation of the pirate box. After you create the image for your SD card that will then go into your Raspberry Pi. You're going to insert it into your Raspberry Pi and then hook your Raspberry Pi up to your router via Ethernet cable, and make sure there's a power source going to it. This is not your battery power, not your line fuel right now. You're just setting up the Raspberry Pi so that it can get what it needs to have loaded onto it. Okay. Like all Raspberry Pi images, they have a stock installation protocol, and each time you plug in something, or each time you try and use PuTTY to connect to something new, there's a key exchange that goes between your computer and whatever you're trying to connect to. So right now, I want my PuTTY sessions to always remember that this is a trusted setup, so we don't have to worry about too much moving forward. I don't want to see the security alert every time I try and connect to my Raspberry Pi via port 22 or SSH. So I'm gonna hit yes. So because I was chit-chatting with you guys, it timed itself out as a security feature. As you can see, here's the error that pops in, but that's okay. We're going to hit OK. We're going to right click here, and then we're going to say new session. Alright. In my PuTTY configuration dialog, I already have the port preloaded. So you see it, my IP address is 10.0.0.17 across port 22. And then I'm going to hit open. When I hit open, it should ask me what I want to log in as. Remember, this is a brand new installation, right? So I haven't customized anything, and I closed out my old session. That probably threw off you guys' this picture, huh? Let me bring it back on up. Boop. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. You guys should see us again. All right, back up. Great. All right, so we're inside of the terminal session. So remember, I'm Pi because that's the primary user, and the password is Raspberry, RASPBERRY, and that should give us access. All right. So right now, I did not connect my Raspberry Pi up to a monitor, which I could have. I just put the disk on. I copied an image, which was the Raspbian image. I then went from my Raspbian image and plugged that SD card that I burnt my Raspbian image to into my Raspberry Pi. One of the things that you're gonna want to download for your so that you can burn images will be a tool called Win32 Disk Imager. That's WIN, the numbers 32, Disk Imager, all one word. And if you Google it, it'll pop up. That's what allows you to burn the image that you download from the Raspberry Pi.org website onto a SD card, just for our less experienced users or our novice users, just so that you know how to create an image. You then take that image, and when I say image, always think that that TechSmith is always talking about the SD card. The SD card contains the image, and the image is the operating system that the Raspberry Pi uses to function. All right. So now we're here at the Raspberry Pi, and I believe because I'm not root right now, because I don't have root level access, I have to use the sudo command in front of everything. So su do, and then I'm gonna do raspi config, raspi dash config. That should take us into configuration. Okay. Now that we're in the configuration window, here, I want to expand it just a little bit so that we can see what's going on here. All right, I'm gonna move my mouse off screen. Pardon my yawns. I think I'm a little tired. First thing that you are gonna do is I want you guys to definitely expand your file system. So what that does, and then what that does is that causes the system itself to use all of the available space on your SD card. So when you put the Raspbian image onto your SD card through using the Win32 disk imager, it typically only takes up 58 to 62 megabytes worth of space. Now, if I have a 8 gigabyte SD card, I'm gonna want to use all of that space, right? Not just 58 megabytes. So what I do is I go into Raspi config, and then I expand my file system so that I can use all available space. Then I want to change my password instantaneously. Like, that's the first thing, one of the first things that you want to do. All right. My favorite part about Unix is that I can type a password while having you guys watch it, and it's not going to show up on the screen. So, there's an error. I believe I probably didn't type in the same password both times. So let's try it again. There we go. If you don't type in the same password each time, it won't work. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go on down to our advanced options. And then I want to change the host name. I have enough pies on my network that I could tell the brand new pie out of the rest of them, but I want a cooler name, because of course I'm creating a pirate box. So let's name him SpongeBob. SponGebob, right? Because he's a pirate, right? SpongeBob. And then I go down, I hit the tab key to bring me to OK, and hit enter. Next step that I'm going to do is I want to adjust my GPU, because I'm not going to really be kicking out too much of anything as far as graphics. Like, I'm not really going to go into StartX, which will then take me to the desktop. I won't ever use that. So I'm going to drop this from 64 to 16. It utilizes the least necessary amount of storage in order to make this Raspberry Pi run. And I have to ensure also that my SSH is enabled. I know that it's enabled because I'm using it right now, so I don't really need to go in. But if we did, this is where we would go. Okay. I want to also pull up my I2C, and that I2C allows my 16 by 2 LCD to run if I ever hook it up to it. If I ever hook it up to my Raspberry Pi. So do I want the I2C kernel module to be loaded by default? Do I? Maybe, because maybe there's something that'll work out in the future that makes it worthwhile. So hit yes. And then we hit OK. What we're gonna do now is finish up because we're pretty much done with our pre-installation. So just going back, I'll go back. We expanded the file system. We changed the password. We went into the advanced options. In the advanced options, we changed the host name because we wanted to differentiate our Pi from all the other Pis on my network and called it SpongeBob, right? We made sure that we had SSH enabled, but we know it's enabled because we're using the SSH protocol right now. We also told I2C to load by default, and we went to memory split as well. And in memory split, what we did was we changed the setting from 64, which is the default setting, to 16, because we're not going to log into this Raspberry Pi using the desktop anytime soon. So right now, what's going on is I went on and hit select, and it's going through all necessary protocols in order to install all the packages that I requested. So all of the HTTPs that you're seeing here is the Raspberry Pi on my network actually going out to the internet, reaching and pulling down all of these different packages. And then once it finishes gathering all the packages that I requested, it'll ask me if I want to install, if I want to take up the necessary space to install onto my Raspberry Pi. Now remember, I have 8 gigs worth of space, and only maybe about 72 megabytes is being used right now. So not even 1 gig is being used yet, right? At the end of this installation, we'll probably only install at max 1 gigabytes worth of space, which leaves us 4 gigabytes. From that 4 gigabytes, because we asked the graphics processing unit to use the least necessary amount of space, we now have a lot more space to use. So I'm gonna go ahead down and I believe I might have hold on, let me go back up. Advanced options. I think I may have hit the update. So I might have prematurely updated, but that's okay. Let's hit back. Let's hit tab. Let's go out to finish. And then when we hit finish, I believe we can type in restart. R-E-S-T-A-R-T. G-O E-S-T-A-R-T. Boom. No, you're not gonna do it. Or is it reboot? Sorry. And S-U-G-O. It's not gonna let me do it. Oh, there we go. So it's going down. I should get something right. So whenever your putty command or you log out from your whatever remotely connected device, it kicks back, putty kicks back a server unexpectedly closed network connection. It's not unexpectedly. We know that it was going to do that. Why? Because when I entered in sudo reboot, which is this, me acting as super user to do this, to reboot, it said broadcast message from root at Raspberry Pi, and then it says the system is going down for reboot now. Once that happened, it terminated our connection, and here we are now. when I close this out, we're gonna have to come back to we're gonna have to come right back to it. Okay, so we're gonna close this. I'm gonna right click here. We're gonna get a new session going on. Here's a new session. I want Star Wars. I want to load that. Remember, my IP address is the same. Going across port 22, and then I'll hit open, and then it'll ask me log in as. Let me open up or switch to another window here. Boom. Okay, so we just switched windows to make sure that when I close the one in the back, we don't get disconnected like last time. Okay, so I'm just moving my screen around a little bit, making it a little bit bigger so that we can see what we're doing, right? So we're logging in as Pi, because that's my username, and yes, you can change Pi. We're going to enter our newly created password, and as you can see where it was at Raspberry before, it's at SpongeBob. So you see Pi at SpongeBob. We are conquering the 7 C's, my friend. Alright, so now it's time for us to go on to another section. And what we need to do right now is because we resized the space, so we're now using the full 8 gigs. We have all of that to our disposal. I'm gonna do a pwd because I want to see what working directory I'm in. I'm in the home Pi. I don't think it matters because we are, that's where your default start off is. And if we need to go to or navigate to any other directories, we'll do that further on down inside of the this review or this discussion. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna sudo apt-get update. Even though I believe I did it earlier, I'm just gonna make sure that everything that I want to happen is gonna happen with the latest version of Raspbian and the different packages that I have installed. So I'm gonna go sudo apt tech get space update sudo apt-get update. Apt-get is my friend. I like it. I typically do sudo apt-get upgrade as well, and that makes life a little bit easier for me, because not only do I update, but I upgrade the packages that require an upgrade. So right now, as you can see, they're listing out the packages to see what we need to update, if anything, and they'll tell us. This typically runs, for me, it's running pretty fast because I have a pretty decent internet connection. One, I'm connected by Ethernet instead of wireless, but we're gonna change that later. So I'm really zooming along. The next step is we're gonna get light TTP. So we're gonna sudo, and then we're gonna apt tech get sudo apt-get tech y, right, to yes, install, and it just answers the tech y, just tells the program that we do want to select the installation. IGHTTPD, right? Then we hit enter, and that way it just tells all the prompts instead of popping up on my screen. Just go ahead and install. Don't ask me, I've already answered it. So it applies a universal yes. You don't want to do that to all service and term agreements, but whenever you can shortcut or get around some things, this is one of the better ways to go about doing it. Sorry about that, guys. What else? While this is installing, what can we do? You know what we can do? We can go here. we can bring up the internets, and then we go to the internets, and I'm getting all of my information from this website. The reason why I'm using this website, even though I know how to do it on my own, I want you guys to see that I'm using the same information that you're using, or that you have access to make my Raspberry Pi work. What I did is I went to, of course, the Raspberry Pirate box. That's what SpongeBob is. Then we scroll down, right? And what I did was I scrolled down. I already have most of my things, and they're saying that they have their own version the pirate of the pirate box instructions. So I'll click here, or their own image, I believe. That looked like they were saying that they had their own image. Remember what I said about creating your own, putting your image onto the SD card? Here's that Win32 SD Imager program that I spoke of earlier, and they even include a link for you to go and pick up what you needed. If you see little purple things popping up over on the right hand side of my screen, that's Ghostery right here. It's a great plugin for any of your Firefox or even Chrome, in order to stop some of that tracking software from generating ads based upon where you go searching, or where you choose to live. So that's how you flash, and then they even have ways to do flashing the SD card from Mac OS. I don't work with Macs, so I typically, you won't hear too many of my explanations to encompass Macintosh, because I believe that you guys are bright enough to find, the necessary stuff. And look here, they've even included it for you, so that you can do it yourself, or you can have the necessary information here for the Mac OS as well. So then, of course, they give you a link to download this this image from torrent site. And everything that I'm doing is I'm gonna run straight through command line to do everything. Berry boot, for some of you guys who are out there who want to experiment with multiple images on one disk, you can install Berry boot onto your SD card, and also get multiple images to be installed. And when you boot up or load up your Raspberry Pi, you can switch in between what version. Some people want to run Pond Pi for your networks penetrators out there, your hacking groups out there, and also you want to just have standard Raspbian or the Noobs edition, new out of the box software. So this is a data partition. This is, of course, telling you how to break up your SD card into more OS or system like environments. We're gonna ignore all of that, right? But this is where I am. Okay. Here I'll type in directly where I'm located, so you can follow along if you want. PIRATEBOX.cc/RASPBERRY_PI, and then colon DIY colon manual MANUAL. Enter. Bam. Here's where I'm at. So the next step is we're going to go ahead and go through this whole list here, and that should take us to that should get us up into the point where we need to install or configure our file so that we can have a wireless connection. So let me go back to our putty session. Go here. Minimize that. Whoop. All right, as you can see, time flew by, and we had an opportunity to allow this stuff to install. So what I'm going to do is create a custom area right quick, because this isn't going to move anywhere, so there's no need. And we don't care about, you know, the branding for putty. I mean, it's a great operating tool, but right now we're just gonna focus on what we really want. All right, so now that we're here, our next thing is we did light TPD. Next thing is I just pushed the up button, which is a great feature inside the Born Again shell or bash. You can go to your last command, so I can go up and then you can see everything I ever typed in, right? I go in and I am going to navigate to another location, and this is just telling light TPD to stop. So I'm going to go / etc /init.d, right? And then /lightTPD space stop, STOP, right? And that should stop this process. Okay, so it's telling you web server, it stopped it, right? We got the green, it said okay. When we first installed it, by default it comes up, it brings the server up, and we need to stop it. The reason why we need to stop it is because what we want to do is stop one of the update commands from executing whenever we activate. I believe this is what forces the communication between the Raspberry Pi and the TP-Link router to continuously communicate only within themselves and not to request additional information from the people in the network. Alright, so we've stopped light TPD, and then our next thing is we're going to sudo update, where is it, update update tech rc.d space light TPD space remove REMOVE. All right. So I just got finished performing that, and again, I could just as easily just open up the web browser that I was on before, and from my web location, right click and drag, highlighting the command I want, hit copy, and then come on over into this screen, and then right click, and then it will drop in everything. The only problem that I see with this is sometimes I don't highlight everything, or I highlight too much, and it just creates a nightmare for me. And so I just don't mind typing, because that helps me make sure, one, that everything that's supposed to be there is there, and two, that there's no extra spaces, which often cause the computers to become rather grumpy. So what I'm gonna do, I'll just bring you guys back on over to my web page. Alright, so what we're gonna do so far is I'm gonna go through this list all the way down to about here, and then I'll bring you guys back up with us continuing from this section, editing the network config file, on down to starting up the pirate box, and from there on we should be great. I look forward to working with you all. Thanks again for tuning in to Aggressive Entropy, and this is TechSmith again, signing out.